earn money, save money and buy things. Living beyond the economic cycle is impossible. What trends are dictated by world markets and how does it affect consumers? Watch it in People and Economy.
1,200,000,000 vehicles are currently cruising around the world. 15 years ago, there were 3 times fewer of them. Over the last years, the global car market has been experiencing oversaturation, which leads to the decline in sales of new automobiles. Thus, in Russia, the demand for newly manufactured iron horses dropped by 15%, in European countries by 13%, and in Japan by 5%. Kazakhstan has also been affected by this trend. Car sales in the country have been reduced as much as by 40%. The experts explain it first of all by saturation of the market. Among the other reasons are swings in value of currencies and complex economic situation in neighboring countries, especially in China and Russia. After the sharp devaluation of ruble at the end of 2014 and until March 2015, when its exchange value reached 80 rubles per US dollar. Of course, fixing prices in rubles made citizens of our country go to Russia and buy cars there. Despite reduced sales, Kazakhstan car market is considered one of the most rapidly growing in the world and now ranks the 4th in the list of the top 10 countries. Currently, more than 4 million vehicles are traveling around the country. People of Kazakhstan spend on their maintenance exorbitant prices. For reference, a decade ago, a scope of car repair services in automotive environment was about $116 million. Since recently, this figure increased several times and now is estimated at $7 billion. In the meantime, the number of registered car service stations exceeds 5,000. Paint splitting as a result of a casual driving over a street curb, a couple of scratches left by a wrongly parked car, or a stone flown from under the wheels of a truck ahead. All these are unavoidable consequences of car exploitation in a big city. It is a fact that nobody is guaranteed against minor damages. However, in these days, car owners can benefit from the services of detailing centers, which can protect them against minor troubles, as well as save costs and stay in good spirits. Maintenance of the car body and saloon are the basic specification of modern vehicle repair centers. The range of services includes anti-gravel, anti-corrosion or water-repellent coating, as well as application of liquid glass or nano-ceramics. These procedures protect vehicles against small damages and can help car owners to cut their costs. Customers save a lot of money because the protection film compensates its price within the first year of exploitation. It means that you don't need to paint the bonnet and face bars or polish headlights at least within 5 years. This means considerable cost savings. Innovations like these have become very popular, especially among busy people. Denis Bakalov considers himself one of them. A tight work schedule does not allow him to visit car wash stations on a regular basis or restore paint on his vehicle every year. He has no time for doing things, he says. Because of that, for the 2nd consecutive year, he leaves his automobile at a car service station for special body treatment. After that, I spend less money in washing because after this treatment, 50% of dust is blown away. It is known that dust is more noticeable on black cars. The original paint with ceramic coating is not damaged during polishing. Body and interior treatment is not quite sufficient without safety precautions. Currently, sales of car alarm and anti-theft devices reach $165 billion. Some experts forecast that this figure can double within 4 years. Annually, more than 1 million car alarm systems are bought in Kazakhstan at an average price of $100. The car alarm system nowadays has become an indispensable component, especially in winter when we often use the remote engine startup. People purchase different types of alarm systems depending on their incomes. There are economy class and expensive devices with a lot of additional options. People of Kazakhstan annually spend $1.5 billion on auto accessories and tuning. The most expensive items are dashboard cameras, travel guides, radar detectors and other electronic devices which facilitate lives of car owners. The average price of such gadget is $50. Dashboard cameras are most in demand because their recordings serve as the main evidence in case of road accidents. Travel guides are less popular because people try to cut their costs and instead of that buy smartphones with the same maps. Online sales of car accessories are also developing very rapidly. Experts estimated that the monthly income of a large online shop nears $4,000. Today's drivers of Kazakhstan are attracted by the possibility of saving time and money as well as ordering goods in other countries. In most cases, these are China, Russia, the US and Japan. Seat and steering wheel covers as well as floor mats are the most sold goods in online shops among people of Kazakhstan. They are followed by various devices like travel guides and dashboard cameras. Acoustical equipment and radios are also in demand. Usually the price of such purchases varies between $30 and $200. The first vehicle with a combustion engine appeared in Europe 130 years ago. Currently, more than 200 million cars travel along EU countries. Most of them are domestically produced. Only German car plants annually assemble 10 million city and off-road vehicles, or almost 40% of all EU production. More than 1 million of people are employed in the Bavarian car industry, which brings to the country's budget 420 billion euros. The automobile industry forms up to 15% of budgets of European countries. Thus, each third new invention belongs not to IT technologies but to automobile and aircraft construction, as well as to mechanical engineering and so on. Currently, the number of car service stations in Europe reaches about 350,000. They employ almost 2.5 million people. Annually, residents of Europe spend more than 100 billion euros on new auto parts and car maintenance services. The growing number of women drivers in many countries has led to the appearance of special car service stations for ladies. Domestic tourism is the critical element in sales of auto accessories and gadgets on the European market. Satellite travel guides, which are now installed in each second automobile, are just one example. Local shops earn billions of euros on selling of such road assistance. At the same time, making money on dashboard recorders is hardly possible as they are prohibited in many countries. For instance, illegal installation of such a gadget in the car can entail not only heavy fines, but also up to 1 year imprisonment. The reason for such a ban is the infringement of privacy laws. Asia is another region where the world's largest automakers are located. Thus, Korea, Japan and China account for about 40% of the total world market. Exports of Japanese vehicles annually bring to the country's budget more than $120 billion. In China, the car sales revenue is 3 times as high. It should be also noted that currently China ranks as the world's top car seller. Only last year, almost 25 million vehicles were sold in the country. China is an indisputable leader among car manufacturers all over the world. Of course, it is explained by the economic growth in the country, in particular the rapid development of the automotive industry, investments and, of course, a large population. The Chinese car market is unique. I think that no European vehicle can compete with a Chinese one in terms of price. Still, despite the extensive development of the local automotive industry, the number of cars in China is comparatively small and reaches only 240 million, or about 20 vehicles per 1,000 people. It can be explained by prices, and not of cars, but of license plates, which cost more than $10,000. The reason for that is the intention of the local authorities to restrict the vehicle flow on the country's roads. In addition, they have a complex scheme which allows car owners with particular license plates to use their vehicles only on certain days 3 times a week. In other days, their vehicles should stay in a garage. As a result, a lot of large national companies have to acquire 2 license plates per vehicle and change them in order to use it every day. People in China spend about $150 billion on various devices and car accessories. And what is more, a special fair is annually arranged in the country. About 6,000 entrepreneurs from Asia, the US and Europe offer to the public more than 200,000 types of goods for vehicles. Citizens of the US annually purchase vehicles to the amount of more than $1 trillion and spend $200 billion more on their maintenance. Costs of oil change, car wash, accessories and other items make up 20% of the budget of an average American family and sometimes exceed meal and medicine expenses. Currently, the number of various car service stations in the US nears 500,000. Some of them are small private boxes located in the territory of private houses. For Americans, a vehicle is not only a means of transport but also one of the best ways of self-expression. Therefore, many US citizens, especially under the age of 40, make active use of car tuning saloons. Ground effects, spoilers and discs take 10% of people's earnings. On the average, Americans spend from $3,000 to $5,000 on perfecting of their automobiles. Car washes also belong to the most profitable business. In our days, this market is estimated at $25 billion and is expected to rise by 15% by the next year. Only in the US, people spend about $2 billion on washing of their iron horses. Currently, self-service washers are most in demand all over the world. At such stations, car owners can clean their vehicles themselves and pay just for the time of stay in the box. Car wash service prices in Europe vary from 10 to 25 euros per car. Hand wash is usually more expensive. Cleaning a car in the US costs between $17 and $20, and in CIS countries from $3 to $10. The cheapest car wash is in Asia and varies from $2 to $5. Buying a new car usually costs a pretty penny. For those who want to save their money, it is recommended to pay attention to domestically produced cars. There is no need to buy a fully equipped car. It can be a basic configuration which answers the parameters of comfort and safety. At the same time, the difference in prices will be significant. We should take into account the optional dependency. For instance, nowadays the mechanical gearbox is becoming a trend as it makes many models cheaper by $500 to $1,500 in comparison with those with the automatic transmission. I don't think that it is a very important option. Moreover, the mechanical gearbox allows saving up to 15% of fuel. Trade-ins or changing an old vehicle on a new one is a good economic tool. Nowadays, this service is offered by almost all major car dealers. For reference, 7 of 10 automobiles in Europe and the US are sold under trade-in system. Mileage is one of the principal requirements in trade-in system. It should not exceed 100,000 kilometers. The age of a car is also of great importance and should not be more than 10 years. If a vehicle complies with all the characteristics, the discount for it may reach 40%. A portable microscope, nanotechnologies with a secret combination of water, pressure, temperature and chemicals, is a standard kit of the world's most expensive car wash located in Dubai. Washing an automobile in this top-range car bath will cost you $15,000. The entire process lasts at least 30 hours. These services include paint film repairing, tenfold holographic polishing of lights and glasses, protective covering of the interior and body, as well as air conditioning.